Okay, well, we're 8:01, about to turn 8:02, but I thought I would go ahead and get us started here. If you haven't done so, go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat there. And then just as part of that, I've muted everybody today, and then if you have questions or whatever, you can always come off mute as we go through, but just to minimize background noise, you're currently muted, and then you can come off as you need to. So I guess today, just as we're looking at it, normally Ed is coordinating this meeting, kind of hosting it with myself, presenting a couple of things in our topic, but Ed has another meeting he's got to jump to. So today I'm gonna do my best at not messing this up as we go through it all. And then halfway through it, Ed will be dropping off the call if he hasn't already. It looks like maybe he did. But as you guys saw in the last email for the meeting, the minutes went out in that. Of course, if you have any edits to that, let me know and I'll get those done. You can email myself or Ed and we'll get those updated. Today we're gonna cover the Central Oregon Fire Prevention Co-op. So we've got Heather Miller and then Don Tschida that will dive into that. But before we do, we'll go through a quick program updates and kind of talk about what we're up to locally and where we're at. Let me see if I got there we go. So we just concluded the Fall Fire Free. That was it happens every year. That's a half price event, and it's not necessarily put on by Deschutes County. However, we promote it here at Project Wildfire. But Deschutes Recycling at Not Landfill, which is a part of Republic Services, they're the ones that put that on. But it's a half price event and it's held only over there at the Not Landfill. And this year, talking to Susan Baker, who coordinates that, she said that some of the participation was down initially. That ran for just a short time, October 30th through November 6th, actually, I believe it was. It was either 3rd or 6th. I should have left the dates on there. But either way, they had a little bit of marginal weather there for a couple of days, and then it turned a little bit better. But in the end, I think she was generally happy with the results, 5,720 cubic yards. And then simultaneously, Jefferson County ran theirs as well, quite a bit smaller population up there, so not as big of numbers, but still pretty good. And if I did the conversion right, it's 1,000 cubic yards. They always report in tonnage. And then I think I used the correct equation. I've got like 2 different equations to do that, but I think I used the right one, and I got 1,000 cubic yards for those guys up there. So not too bad. And they were doing a press release on that. I think they were feeling really happy about their participation this year. It sounds like it's been growing each year for them. Other things that are going on, we've got the Greater Bend CWPP is out for signatures. I feel like a broken record on that. I've kind of been given those updates lately in the last couple of months. But we're out for signatures, so that should be coming back around in December, I believe on the 18th-ish. I'll have to look at my calendar, but I believe it's December 18th. I'm going in front of the City Council to discuss the CWPP and then gain signatures from them as well. So we're pretty excited about that. I think this actually may be the first year that the City of Bend will be officially signing it. They've held off on signing it in years past, but I think as they're getting more involved with the CWPP, they're feeling a greater comfort level. And then just preloading us, I've said this a couple of times, but I'm going to continue to remind everybody that the Greater Bend will be the CWPP that we update for 2020. So I'll probably be reaching out to Tom and all of his folks up there, plus a few other communities around the Redmond area, likely Eagle Crest, and all of you folks will be part of that as far as providing some input. The biggest news that we got right now, and of course it's been kind of eating my lunch this year, has been the Firewise Sites, which is really awesome to see all the participation, but it's a fair amount of work. But we're hitting 50 sites. So this list here is all of the folks, all the communities that have joined Firewise in just 2021. We had several that joined in 2020. in 2020 as well, but 2021 was kind of when most folks came through that filter and actually got through the process of becoming approved. And then the bottom three are the ones that came through just since our last meeting last month: River Forest Acres, Mount Bachelor Village, and the Ridge at Indian Ford, the HOA there right outside of Sisters. So pretty good representation across the county still. It's a program isn't just in one area, centric in one area, it's everybody doing it. So we're pretty excited about that. The people are still coming through, but also we're hitting the 50 sites, which is a pretty cool milestone. You've probably seen, quite a few people have seen the email I sent around where we're going to do a couple of things for those sites. One is we're putting out a press release saying congratulations and just kind of showing off what our communities are doing and kind of their awareness, which is super awesome. And then we're also putting together I feel like it's a surprise, but I guess it's not really, but we're putting together a short video from all of our cooperators and partners saying thanks to the communities for doing their part of fire preparedness, recognizing their role and how they participate in general fire preparedness. So we're pretty excited to put that together. I've got a lot of responses from folks. If you received the email from me, but you haven't sent one back to me, please do so. And it can be a really simple, it can be a very simple email or a video. It can just be you holding up the phone, sitting at your desk and just saying, introducing yourself, Boone Zimmerly, Project Wildfire. I want to say thank you for all the work that you've been doing out there. Yeah, that simple. So if you haven't done it, send it over. And then I wanted to do one other one here. I just kind of wanted to show this show a couple of stats here. And one of them's not on here, but I'll talk through it. And it's part of our press release. But since Firewise Communities started, there's been, I think it's $8.2 million invested in fire preparedness across those communities. And that's to me, somewhat blows me away. I'm like, man, that is a lot. And then the number that really gets me to, that shows the momentum of what's going on out there is last year alone in 2020, there was $2.5 million invested into fire preparedness, defensible space around homes. And that's, and we as agencies and partners, I feel like we have a small investment in that. One is bigger, that we're actually out there talking to folks and getting the word out. But when it comes to monetary investment, we're, the county, I think we put in 100,000, which is nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, that's really good investment in those communities, but the communities themselves are putting in the rest of that. So they're adding in a lot of their time and a lot of their funds coming from their HOAs and whatever they may be gathering through those communities. So pretty big, 2.5 million last year. Curious to see what next year will be with those new communities being added in. And then these stats that you guys are seeing right now, I just thought it was cool to kind of show it off a little. Oregon, across all of the 50 states, we are number 2 in number of Firewise sites. And then the new sites for the last year is Oregon again. So the number of new sites in Oregon was 46, and I just showed the list of what Deschutes County is contributing to that. And then when we stack up the top 10 ranking counties across the nation, and remember this across the nation, Deschutes County falls in here with number 6. So we fall in at number 6, hitting our 50 number right now, like that just happened this week. So we're hitting our 50 number right now. We're number 6 in the nation for county. And then because of our numbers, we're pushing Oregon up into the top ranking states across the nation. So pretty cool. I think that's really cool. It says a lot about the awareness throughout all of our community, not just what we do here, but everybody's thinking about it no matter what walk of life or what they do for a living.
Hey, Boone.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I wonder if at some point you'd be able to break those down by fire district. I only ask because my colleagues in La Pine like to say that they have the most Firewise recognized sites in any fire district, and that gets my competitive juices flowing. So I just want to know where we're at and how we can
Oliver, that's a good point. I can do a full official GIS analysis overlaying it, but also if you do that Firewise story map, it maps all those sites and you can just eyeball and count if you want as well, but I can do that too and then send you over what I see. Actually, you know what? I will do that. I'll take a look at it and actually see what the official numbers are and get that back over to you. So
Awesome.
That's a good question. Yeah, they did have a couple that just came through this year that was pretty cool to see how quickly they moved on it. They've got one right now that's pending that's been doing a lot of work and very active, and I think it's pretty cool. It's a bit of what I would call more of one of our critical areas, and seeing people recognize it and doing some work is awesome. Okay, so I think that's everything I've got on the program of work for updates. Does anybody have any other questions or anything that I'm missing that you're wanting to hear about? And if I don't know, I'll make it up for you. Okay, well, I think with that, I'm going to turn this back over to, I'm going to turn this back, I'm going to stop my share here, but I'm going to turn this over to Heather Miller and Don Tschida. Heather is, you know, we've been having Chris Paul attend our meetings, and then Chris has moved to a new geographic area, and then Heather has filled in behind him. So Heather is the new Oregon State Fire Marshal rep for our area. And then Don Tschida works for Prineville BLM Ranger District, and I'll let them introduce themselves further. But you guys are free to share the screen when you're ready, Heather. And then you guys are both muted just to give you a heads up.
There, I found my button. All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Heather Miller. I'm with the State Fire Marshal's office, and we get Don on here, and he can introduce himself.
Morning, Don Tschida with the Prineville BLM as part of COFPC here of the Rivers Division. I'm one of the battalion chiefs here, so glad to be here today. So we're here to talk about the Central Oregon Fire Prevention Co-op that both myself and Heather are part of. So we're just going to briefly, we have a PowerPoint presentation to go through, and then we'll definitely answer any questions at the end if anybody has any. So what we're going to talk about today is who we are in our current structure and operation of what we do currently within the Tri-County area. We're going to go over our history of a little bit of history on our co-op, and then our yearly events and discussions, obviously, and questions and answers. Heather has control of the PowerPoint for me, so she's the master of this. I'm just along for the ride, so that's what we're going to talk about. All right, next slide, please. So right now, currently, this is kind of a quick little illustration of who's participating members of our co-op, and so you see the 3 land agencies at the bottom, along with Warren Springs. But you know, prevention across the board, you know, we're kind of unique in that we have American Red Cross with us, and some people kind of wonder why they are, but we prevention from smoke alarms to evacuations, and you know, the American Red Cross helps with a lot of different functions. And so, but yeah, they're a participating member within our co-op. We have the fire departments as well within the three county area. That participation ebbs and flows over time, but just like with anything. So, but everybody's still part of a member and actively participates on a yearly round basis. So, you know, we try to keep, you know, people going within our organizations. but people move and change. You know, Redmond Fires just changed who they send to our meetings, and so, and same with the agencies. So we do have a lot of turnover. All right, next slide, Heather, please. So this is just an illustration of where we participate. Again, the three primary counties are Jefferson, Crook, and Deschutes counties. We do go into a little bit of Klamath with the way COFPC is designed. You know, Crescent down there sits in Klamath County. I take in a little bit of Wheeler County for the BLM, you know, fossil spray country, and parts of Wasco County. So, but our primary focus again is within those three counties that we work within. There we are. So our mission, and this is our mission statement within the co-op, is to promote an interagency exchange of ideas and resources by actively participating through coordinating fire and life safety education programs, projects, and presentations. You know, which equals cohesive strategy, thus fire adapted communities. And that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to send that message from all agencies, whether you're a land agency or a structure fire department or volunteer fire department, you know, prevention across the board within our geographical area that we talked about. Okay, next slide. So how we operate within that current structure is we fall underneath the Central Oregon Fire Chiefs. They are our overarching board. Some benefits of this is funding grant opportunities. We used to have a treasurer and keep track of our monies and thus be a 503c entity. But now we've quit that and we just use the Central Oregon Fire Chiefs for that role. It saves us money, it saves us time and energy, and it's been a good working relationship with the Central Oregon Fire Chiefs Association. So they help maintain that information gap, and we are the bridge between the chiefs level and what we feel the boots on the ground level in fire prevention. You know, we work with the chiefs and that communication back and forth. Within our bylaws, it states that the chair of our co-op will represent our co-op at the chiefs meeting and will submit an accomplishments report each year to the chiefs group. This is real quick a shot of our bylaws. We do carry bylaws within our organization. So if anybody would care to see our bylaws, they are currently on our website, which you can find underneath the Central Oregon Fire Prevention Co-op. We have our own website, which is available to anybody, and these bylaws are there currently listed that we operate out of. All right. So right now, currently we have a chair, a vice chair, secretary / treasurer, like I sort of talked about, and an information officer. And you know, what we really work hard at is that we have both wildland and structure representatives shall be represented in the chair and vice chair positions. We try to, that way we get that equal representation across the board. You know, one agent, either the land management agency or the structure site's not over dominating us per se. And so we really work hard to try to be equals in our deal. As you see, you know, I'm not going to read all these. What each one does, but it's pretty cut and dried. So that's where we are with our current organization. Right now, Stacy Lacey, who works off the Ochoco National Forest, is our chair. She's been our chair for the last few years. I've been the vice chair for the last few years as well. Currently, we lost Claire out of, Claire was our secretary, so we have to fill that. And then Heather, Heather Miller, obviously, just took a new job with the Oregon State Fire Marshal, but she was a volunteer with Sisters Fire prior to that. So, and we're glad that she's still able to keep with us, definitely. So, a little bit about the history of our co-op. Our history started in 1977, and it's been going until now. So, you know, the co-op was developed out of a need and has continued due to partnerships and dedicated members. Central Oregon had a need to get their fire prevention message to the communities throughout the 3 counties. John Jackson of ODF, Mort Reynolds of Remnant Fire Department, and Gordon White of the Deschutes National Forest attended a class on cooperatives in Montana. They found that if the agencies worked together, that they could get that message to their communities. And so that is what, you know, what we've gained over the years is that, and it's still very true to this day, that we try to come together with that common message. One agency is not saying one thing about fire prevention or fire, you know, campfires out on the ground versus another agency is saying you can have them. We want to try to make sure everybody's on that same page, and we do that through the co-op, and thus the representation we all need from all the departments, so that we can put out that uniform information through our co-op and through our programs that we provide. Heather's going to do some of those, go over those events in a little later part of this presentation. Okay, we're going to show a little short segment of the video of the tollgate fire that happened in 1977. And we're going to show about a couple minutes of this video. Go ahead, whenever you're ready, Heather.
Property loss can be extensive. Fire safety is an important consideration in where to buy or build. Protection planning is essential to effective prevention programs. Homeowner Wayne Rao, after the fire, reflects upon the need for communities like Tollgate.
I think the way to approach it is to get to most of these subdivisions have associations, and I think if they have meetings, and I think the way to cover the most people in the fastest way is for people who understand this type of thing to get to these meetings in these subdivisions and speak up and let these people know how dangerous it is and what they have to know to handle it properly. And there's nothing like getting information from people that actually know what to do instead of what you think you should do.
For the residents here in Tollgate, the remote possibility of fire became stark reality. The experience of the oncoming fire, evacuation, and anxiety will long be remembered. Fire control in rural areas combines the resources of many agencies.
The last several years, all the fire service agencies in the Tri-County area here in Central Oregon have recognized that we're gradually going to be facing a tremendous increase in the people in the woods and the subdivision areas. As a result of this, we formed a fire prevention cooperative that essentially we've developed the idea we would merge and coordinate all of our fire prevention assets into one effort. This is not limited to just summertime activities, but it also includes the wintertime activities. Our cooperative includes all 15 or 18 of the local rural, and city fire departments, and we coordinate all of our efforts toward working against the problems that we're faced with in that particular time of the year. And the key to our prevention efforts in this area has been one of dealing with the homeowners association here in the subdivision and encouraging them to, either as groups or as individuals, to reduce the fuel loading in a manner that does not detract from the aesthetic values. That includes reduction of the dead and dying material on the ground, and also dead limbs on trees and so on. In addition, this area has had the
So, that message that me and Heather talked about it, that message hasn't changed. And, we're still saying that same message. And Boone kind of talked about it in his presentation before ours is, we're up to 50 communities Firewise, and that's amazing. So part of me says, yeah, we're getting that message out there, and people are hearing our message. And that's the message of the co-op is as well. We're trying to push people to those, get them to take responsibility if they can to work within their communities to help their neighbors and themselves in case of a fire comes into that community. And also help the firefighters on the ground to the structure departments and everybody. So our message is continuing that. So again, collaborative equals cooperative equals conferences together equals fun and friendships. Next slide. So we over the years we've had different banners. Just like with anything, times we change our looks, kind of try to reinvent ourselves. So the ideas have changed as well as our logos. So the two on the left there are what the co-op banners used to look like, and the one on the right now is our current banner. But as times change, and our logos change throughout our agencies. Next slide. So we talked about how do we get that messaging out, and when do we get that messaging out? The co-op does a variety of activities. We do team teaching and fire busters, and Heather's going to go more into those programs and the value of those programs. Team teaching was developed in California by teaching Smokey Bear and match safety, and it's definitely been a stable of our co-op. We've had to try to kind of reinvent team teaching, and we're still trying to reinvent team teaching since COVID and the schools shut down access to us, and we're still trying to work some of those kinks out. Hopefully this year we can get back with the schools, maybe doing something outside is what we're looking at. Last year we tried to just send them the videos that we've put together, try to do a virtual like this team teaching, which didn't really meet anybody's needs. So we're revisiting what team teaching looks like. Team teaching and firebusters will be talked about, like I said, a little later by Heather. And then other programs have come and kind of gone. Smokey and the American Cowboy, I don't know how many remember going to rodeos and seeing Smokey. That program working with the rodeos of Central Oregon, it was out there. We're not, I don't know where that went, but we don't quite do that one as much. Smokey's always been in parades, and when we try to get that Smokey and Sparky out there as much as we can. you know, depending on where we can put Smokey. He every once in a while can get fancy, right, as you see down below with the Clydesdales. So, you know, we work as a co-op. It's nice to have engines from as many departments as well. We do other activities, hunters booths. You know, this setup is in Prineville at Ray's, and it's been going strong. It's the amount of people, and this is in partnership with ODF and W is there with us. The co-op is there, and so we work trying to get that information out to hunters. First we was just doing rifle season, but now we've brought in this booth to archery season as well. A day before or 2 days before archery season, they set up to get that information of if you can have campfires or you know, propane stoves and those type of stuff to the people coming into the community and going out in the woods. One of the other activities, some of the other stuff we do is as members, we're active in the hunter safety classes, teaching fire safety through the hunter safety program that young kids go through. And I have a note here that with the assistance of Pete Martin and the Region 6 Forest Service, we were able to get the Smokey hot air balloon for balloons over Bend at one point. So it'd be nice to get Smokey back for that, you know, for that time again. We do campground classes. We're still able to do some of that type of stuff because it is outside. I know in Crook County, we do fish, fins, and feathers and chimney rock days with 5th and 6th graders and that type of stuff. And other departments are other school districts are able to go out. So we take advantage of those type of scenarios, again, teaching fire safety to the youngsters. If we can teach it to the youngsters, then, you know, hopefully they take that into adulthood. Code Ready was a program in Bend Fire that was part of our co-op and that we used to put forward throughout the co-op. Next. So again, so our co-op meets monthly, every 3rd Tuesday of the month at noon now. We've changed our meeting times because we was conflicting with the meetings such as this one that you all are participating in. And so we tried to pick a better time that more people could come. What we used to do is we used to rotate. Before COVID, we used to rotate our locations. We'd have one in Prineville, we'd have one in Sisters, we'd have one in Madras, we'd have one in Lapine, Bend, Redmond. We used to rotate so that we would go different places. Unfortunately, since then, all of our meetings have now been, you know, via virtual, and that's part of our issue as well, is those virtual meetings. But some of the other stuff, you know, we do participate at all the fairs within the 3 counties. And then we do help out at Fire Free, Central Oregon Youth Fire Intervention Network, in those functions. So those functions are our mainstay functions that we work on. All right, next slide, please. So this is an example of a 2017 calendar that one of our members used to upkeep, and just the times when, like in March, you know, the different team teaching going on, and up to May, we could have been team teaching, but it's just showing that the activities that go on throughout the year that the co-op is participating in throughout the program. And that's why we need as many volunteers to do all that. So this is our website. I saw Boone put the link into the chat. Thank you, Boone, for that. So you go to the Central Oregon Fire Chiefs website. We have our own tab underneath that, and thus it gets you to us where we are. Within this website, we have done some staffing stuff, team teaching, our yearly calendar and stuff like that, just so that all of our people can see how many people are coming to help and so forth and stuff like that. Next slide, please, Heather. So funding, we get our funding out of the Chiefs Association. We request funds for different projects if we need them, or we put in for grants underneath the Chiefs Association. And then the agencies are also able to kick in funding in a different way. For us, we have to do stuff like the swag type of stuff, or we can do pamphlets and stuff like that. We don't have a mechanism to put our money directly into the co-op, but we can provide other funding for the land agencies for us. But a lot of our funding comes from the Chiefs Association through them. So those are great avenues for us to use for our projects throughout the year. In 2016, we got a grant for that Raise, Set, Go pamphlet. So those pamphlets went out to, Jefferson County Fire, Sisters Fire, Crook Fire. They were part of that grant that we put in for in 2016. And then on the left, you see what we've done with some of our funding from the BLM and Forest Service Prevention Funds of providing pamphlets and posters and that type of stuff, and community signage, including billboards. We have that ability to help provide funding. So funding's coming from both the structure side and from the land agencies. And next one, I think I am done.
You are. All right. So I'm going to talk about events and just kind of the nitty gritty of what we get to do as a co-op, the fun stuff. So annual events that we participate in, both programs that we put together as a co-op ourselves, and then programs that are out there that we put our group together to help staff, things like the Sportsman Show and the Garden Show and things of that sort. So these are just more of the events that we collaborate on, and many hands make light work. Some of the special events that we put together our information and staffing for, helping out with the eclipse, getting messages out there about flying drones or don't fly drones and that sort of thing. Just getting our staffing levels up just by collaborating and getting everybody in the game. So these are just more of the messages that we try to push out there together. So, Firebusters is one of our big programs that we do. It is brought to the Central Oregon community through partnerships and sponsorships, grants. The folks that are listed on here are either past contributors or current contributors in different ways. We've built a committee that plans Firebusters, and we've brought in folks from the Sheriff's Office, from ODOT, from 911, that sort of thing, to help put our heads together to make sure that we're getting a good message out there. And it's fire and life safety, and not just fire. This was our 35th year this year, so we're pretty excited about that. Firebusters is a program that was started out of Portland Fire many moons ago, and used to be delivered from co-ops throughout the state. And I think we're one of the last to continue the tradition, but we're pretty proud about that. Target audiences, kindergarten to 5th grade. We hold it during Fire Prevention Week in October. And what we create is 5 30-second videos. We produce those through KTVZ, and we run it on their morning and evening news, and run it on websites and our social media. And the goal is that we're airing a new segment each day, Monday through Friday of that week. Again, the focus is fire and life safety, but we always make sure we include at least one structural topic and one wildland topic in that group. Sorry about that. So we create a worksheet to go along with the videos. So the expectation is that the students watch the video, learn a couple of key points out of that video, and then reinforce their learning through a worksheet. We distribute those to the schools throughout the Tri-County area, somewhere around 13,000 or so that are put out there. The local fire agencies get involved by holding assemblies to introduce the program, and they'll do a follow-up at the end to do prize giveaways. We collect the worksheets, and that's for doing the prize drawings, but it also gives us a good evaluation tool on how the kids are learning, who's participating, that sort of thing. We have devised a program where schools with over 50% participation are eligible for a grand prize assembly, and most of the funding for our program is through grants and sponsorships. Here's an example of the worksheet that we created this last year. In years past, it's been question, answer, multiple choice, that sort of thing. And we took a different spin on it this year with doing more of an activity-based sheet. With that kindergarten to 5th grade, that's a pretty broad learning spectrum there. And so we're trying to reach that a little bit better by doing activities instead of just question answers. And so we do it in English, and we also do it in Spanish, just to make sure that we're covering all of our bases there. And here's an example of some of the worksheets that got turned in this year. So nice to see how things are coming together for them and what they're learning. So just an example of what our segments look like. Here's one on wildland evacuation tips that we did this year.
Firebusters, brought to you by Airlink, Critical Care Transport.
Is your family ready just in case of an evacuation? Here are some things you can do to help your family prepare. Sign up for your county emergency alerts and help your parents remember to grab the 6 Ps. They are people and pets, important papers, prescriptions, pictures, personal items such as phones and computers, and your plastic credit and debit cards. Other evacuation tips to remember. Don't wait, be safe, leave early. Go all the ways out of your neighborhood and tune in to your local news and radio for updates.
So we're pretty proud of how those turn out. They're very professional, and you know, it's fun. We're using local actors with that, you know, kids that are from the school here, folks that are employees of some of our local agencies, and it's a great collaborative process when we put those together.
Firebusters, brought to you by Airlink.
Here's some examples of prizes that are offered from different agencies. Different areas sometimes do different things. They might award a bicycle to a student in the school, or maybe offer a pizza party to the classroom with the highest participation. You know, lots of incentives to get them involved. And then with our grand prize assembly, we work with Airlink as one of our major sponsors, and we coordinate with them to actually fly in for an outdoor assembly. Local agencies bring their apparatus and get law enforcement to come, and just kind of make it a fun, fair sort of environment. So lots of fun with that. So team teaching is another program that's been around for a long time. This is a program that focuses on our first grade groups. We try to get to all the local elementary schools in Central Oregon. This is usually coordinated with the wildland agencies, whether it's Forest Service or ODF, but all the co-op members can jump into any of the areas and help fill in those gaps. It takes a lot of manpower to pull it off. We really try to make it a firefighter for just a couple of kids in each setting, to make sure that we're trying to get that one-on-one or one-on-3 sort of interaction with them. We teach the Smokey's 5 fire safety rules, what good fire versus bad fire is, making sure to reinforce that firefighters are their friends, you know, and try to slip in those messages there about keeping a good defensible space and good home planning. So usually do a presentation, a video presentation or a slideshow with it, and then bring in Smokey at the end, and sometimes Sparky or Buster or whatever fire dog's available that day to come in and really give that reinforcement of the positive message with the kids. We give them a activity book to take home, and then hopefully they share that with their families. So there's kind of the evolution of our book. The one on the right is actually the older one, and the one on the left is a newer one that was developed a couple of years ago. And there's an amazing artist with the Forest Service named Jimmy Turner, and he lended his skills to us to make a really cool activity book. So county fairs is another focus that we have.
Heather, I think you froze up. Might try turning off your video. Maybe you'll pick back up there.
Yeah, she froze.
No, well, this might put you on the spot, Don.
It might. I can talk, but I don't have a PowerPoint presentation.
Nice.
Almost done.
Yeah, gives it. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll give her a quick call here. Stand by one.
Okay. She was almost there.
She said her computer died.
Oh, now freeze it.
Give her a couple of seconds, see if she jumps back on. And then Don, I'm guessing you don't have that PowerPoint.
No, I don't.
Okay.
That's why she was the keeper of it.
Stand by one. Well, if she doesn't jump back on, Don, you want to finish us off here?
Yeah. So, you know, what she's going to talk about at the county fairs. So like at Deschutes County Fair, you know, we staff that with 4 to 5 days from roughly from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Ben Bolton has been a great sponsor for us for our spot there in the space, for the space and in the kid zone. Jimmy Turner, who she talked about, that did our prevention book, he drew over 1,275 different favorite animals in 2017. What that estimates is we see 500 people come through in one day. So in that 1,275 photos that he draws, that was just in one day. So, so we are meeting a lot of different people. You know, we talk to the kids, but we also talk to the adults at that same time about fire prevention and what's currently happening within the area at that given time. Currently, ODF provides, you know, water ball piece at the Deschutes County Fair. Bend Fire Community, they provide their community engine. Forest Service and BLM provide some Smokey swag. The Ben Bolton Bouncy House, and you know, and at the Deschutes County Fair, it's always Smokey's birthday normally during that fair time. So celebration for Smokey as well. And then Crook and Jefferson counties fairs, usually we do 4-day staffing there. And Jimmy, he's at both of those fairs as well. Crook County, you know, he drew 465 in one day, which is approximately 200 people per day. And then Jefferson County was 700, almost is 800. So about 300 people per day. So at those fairs, again, we do current information of what's going on. Some of the tools that we have a spin wheel. The kids spin the wheel, ask a question from our team teaching. We see if they can get that right, and then we give them a prize. We had a touch box where they, you know, just reached into a box type of deal and so forth. Different things of what was in there. So pine cone, we put pine cones and other stuff in the touch box, the blind touch box. Obviously, we take Smokey there, walk Smokey around, and we get Smokey pictures with Smokey, and people are pretty happy with that. We have what's called the Edith trailer that we take to all the fairs. We got a major grant, probably early 1980s, sometime in there, from State Farm Insurance. They gave us $37,000 to purchase this trailer and wrap it. It used to be just a plain white trailer, I guess. So, you know, State Farm came through and provided the funding for that. The community engine out of Bend, they take that engine to the Deschutes County Fair. Very interactive engine. Is the engine that the Bend Fire Department retired, but they used it. They put screens on it and stuff like that, and they can run videos on it. It's very interactive. Kids can climb in it, you know, jump around, see the seats, all that great stuff that the little kids like to do, sit in the fire truck, parents take pictures. The Edith trailer is talking about escape routes. You know, there's two ways out of a structure, you know, the door that you walked in or a window, and then the Edith trailer is using that, trying to teach kids forget about windows and being able to go out windows, and trying to teach that to them. Our last picture was the fire free and all the debris. The co-op used to help a lot with unloading, have volunteers to help unload other people's stuff for the fire free event, but you know, thank goodness for dump trailers. You know, everybody has a bunch of dump trailers, which helps immensely, but we're still part of that endeavor. We definitely put the word out on our websites when those fire free events happen. So that type of stuff goes on. And that was it. And I apologize for Heather's computer issues there, but that was our co-op. And I was just add, you know, the co-op, like I said, it takes a lot of people to to do work with the co-op. And, you know, Stacy Lacey, our president, was going to do this, but she had a scheduling conflict. And so we didn't want to cancel out on Boone. So we, you know, Heather and I volunteered to put the presentation on, and that's what the co-op's all about, is just helping out where we can with each other's projects that are going on within their community. And I'll leave it at that. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them.
So if you got questions, you can either raise your hand or just come right off of mute or put it into chat here. While people are kind of thinking about that, oh, maybe we got somebody here.
Yeah. Yeah, Boone?
Gotcha. Yep, go ahead, Dean.
Yeah, I'm out in the sticks and my Zoom froze up, so I had to call in. Yeah, this is Dean Richardson, and thanks for the presentation, Central Oregon Fire Prevention Co-op. My question is, we're in South County here. I don't know if you have any presence in South County, and I was curious because it seems like a really good program with the kids. We got 3 river schools here locally, and then in the Lapine area, there's the Lapine Elementary School, and I was wondering if they're getting any kind of input from your co-op.
Yeah, they are. We do. We've done both team teaching. I've gone down there and helped with team teaching at both those schools in South Deschutes County, and then we also take in Firebusters is as well is within those schools as well, along with Crescent. But yeah, we definitely are in Lapine Basin, spreading that prevention message down there as well.
That's excellent. And when you do that in the future, maybe let us know at the Upper Deschutes River communities,
Okay.
and perhaps we can assist or participate in some way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, we'll see if there's any other questions that come in here, but just thinking out loud, right? It's first, I just want to, say I appreciate you guys being able to do this. I know that Stacy Lacey was planning to do it, and then she had to step away, and then you guys stepping in. You guys did a really good job presenting. Pretty cool to see that it's been around for 35 years. That's a long time, all the way back to Wayne Rowe, John Jackson, and I didn't catch the Forest Service folks' names, but
Pete Martin.
Yeah, there we go. Pretty cool to see. And then the other piece of it I thought was pretty fun was to see the span of reach. If I wasn't doing this job, I would still see and feel the impacts of what you guys are doing. My kids are, they're 7 now, but they bring home the Firebuster activities, and we're sitting around doing those because they love the crosswords, and it's just fun to see. And then especially as we sit here, looking at all the places and the ways that we interact, and sometimes we don't even realize that we're overlapping with one another. Right. About the fire-free events, how you guys are coming out there volunteering and all that. So just want to say I appreciate all that. Are there anybody else got questions right now? I'm not seeing any raised hands, and feel free to come off. I see Kevin turned his camera on.
Yeah, just one, I wanted to thank Don and everybody for doing that presentation. But the one thing I hope you got across is that they do a lot of work that co-op does, but very few people are carrying a pretty big load on it. And if we could get more volunteers, it'd be great. And then the other part of it is there's an opportunity, especially with you folks who have gone through, getting your communities fire free and stuff. There's opportunity of being able to speak to that piece of fire prevention. In 1977, look at those old John Jackson pictures. There was a lot less people in Central Oregon. It was a lot different picture back then. And I was just doing the count on it for us in Central Oregon, we had there was 234 human starts on the Forest Service lands in Oregon, and 52% of them basically were on the Deschutes and Ochco. BLM, we had 32% of the human starts on Prineville District BLM, and there's 634 human starts on private land in Oregon. So it's just a big deal. It's grown every year. We're running at like a 2-to-1 ratio of human starts to lightning. So it's definitely a piece of work that we need to work on. And I think this is a good venue for it. You folks bring in that piece of doing that community work within your neighborhoods that can be spoken to in those environments. It brings a different piece because, we still do team teaching. It's very important. It's a good chance for us to interact with young kids and let them learn about our agencies and stuff. But it's not 7-year-olds starting all those human starts out there. There's a few of them, but they're not that big of a percentage anymore. It's really everybody else, and just a lot of new people to the woods and stuff like that. So anyways, there's a lot of work to be done on the fire prevention side. Just wanted to get that out there. Thanks, though.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Those some really good little tidbits in there. Thinking about our 50 Firewise sites, and like Kevin said, we have a pretty good size reach. And if there are messages that we need to be bringing down for fire prevention out to those communities beyond what we're already doing, by all means, you can contact me, right? Like there's well over 100 folks on the distribution list of just those communities. Some of them are potential communities, some are already recognized, but they share that within their own networks. And the potential there is that those emails are reaching tens of thousands of folks as they share it back out again with their networks within their HOAs. So it's a pretty big reach when you really kind of start looking at the force multiplier of reaching into those. And I'm always welcome sharing stuff. Any other questions? Looking around. Okay, I think we got a little time here left for a round table, and I'm just going to do like Ed always does and just go down the list. And this is roughly, looks like it's in alphabetical order. Feel free to pass if you don't have anything. So just top of my list here, Bill Booz.
I don't really have anything from Ben Fire, except, obviously we're evaluating how this last summer went with all the wildland fires and just working with all the cooperatives in the area. So that's all that I have to report for Project Wildfire.
Hey, Bill, while I got you, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I saw that you guys have a new permitting program. I'm not sure when that came out for fires, and I thought maybe a quick, if you and I guess there was 2 things I saw on it. One is that it's no fires are allowed within the district of Ben Fire, but yet there is a permit that you can fill out online.
Well, I mean, we have the regular burn permit that you can go online and fill that out. We're also looking at, and Sisters uses it, it's that Burn Permits app. Where you can actually sign up for that. I don't know a ton about that right now. It is something that we're investigating at this point, but the nice thing about the app is that all you need to do is sign up. And then if you want to burn that day, you can just log in, place, that you are burning. It gives us a pin as to the location. It will tell you whether burning is, open or closed that day. And if we decide that we want to close it because of something we weren't expecting, they would get notified of that, but it allows us to see exactly where those locations are at. So, if we do get, a call in from a neighbor or something like that, we know that, that they were going to burn for that day anyway. So it's a new program that the Deschutes Rural Fire Protection District number 2 is implementing, because that's where you can burn. Is that, like you said, Boone, outside the city limits. I think it's going to be great once we get it up and running, but next meeting, I will know more about it. I will be an expert on it. I will make sure of that.
Yeah, copy. Yeah, I saw it on the website, and I was I just kind of glanced quickly, and it's exactly what you just said. Is it looks like it's for district number 2 and more of a commercial type application, and then within the city, it's still the no burn policy.
That's correct. And then obviously, if they're going to be doing any, major, agricultural burns and those types of things, we'll want to be able to go out and take a look at it. So, just help people out with, what they need to do prior to burning. So they have a successful, field burn that day.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Boyd Turner. Have you next on my list?
Nothing to report this month. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you. Brandy Foster. Nothing to report. Okay. Chris Perry.
Nothing to report from 911 this morning, Boone. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. David Mormon says nothing to report from Red Cross this morning. He says he worked on one of the toll gate fires in 1979, not in 1977. Same week as the Bridge Creek fire. Kind of a fun little, some fun trivia there. I've already got Dawn. Georgia Hill. If she's still here.
Yes, I'm here. Eagle Crest, or the Rigid Eagle Crest, is finishing up our grass management program for 2021, and we're currently working with the county to implement the FEMA grant hazard mitigation grant program. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Georgia. Yeah, I know Ed has been working diligently on helping you guys out with that. David Gibson.
Nothing to report.
Thanks, David. Greg Bryant, sorry.
That's right. Nothing to report there, Boone. Thank you.
Okay. Kevin Stock, I know you talked once, but maybe an update if you've got one.
Not a whole lot. I will have an update probably in the next couple months as it relates to infrastructure bill, because for the next 10 years, there's going to be a pretty good stream of fuels treatment money coming in. So it's good that it is over 10 years, because the concern was it was all going to come with a get it done in 2 years kind of thing, and there's no way we can push the pipeline that quick, right? But over 10 years, we could get a lot of serious work done adjacent to communities and in conjunction with the community. So looking forward to that, and we'll see what we end up with.
Yeah, I agree. I've been curious of how that's going to come down, that infrastructure bill. And along with that, there's a couple of things you just reminded me of, but the state has that 25 million that's coming out here shortly, 5 million of that aimed towards the private lands. And a lot of that will also be aimed directly at Firewise communities. So if you're working or living in or with those communities, just be thinking about what kinds of projects you may want to apply for. And right now that funding could come out like any day. We don't know when, but it should be coming out soon. It's going to have a timeline on it pretty tight. So be thinking about what do you have that you may want to get focused on. And then Don, I have a go back that's related to that I meant to ask a long time ago, if you're still there.
Yeah.
Hypothetical question: if you have a partner cooperator with 10,000 looking to spend it somewhere on prevention, would you guys be able to take that?
I would think so. If that was the case, I'd have to look, but I right now I would say yes.
Okay, I'll send you an email after this.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. And then continuing down the list, Kyle Collins, if you're on still, looks like you are.
I am. Yeah. Nothing to report from the county.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. And then Ray Meow already put one in here. Let me find it again. He said there was nothing to report. Yeah. Robert Newey. Robert, yeah, there you are.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Yeah, just for Newberry Division on the fire side, Kevin Stock definitely spoke to impending money coming down the pipeline. We'll see how that shakes out, but likely a fair amount of money coming down through the infrastructure bill, and we'll be definitely looking at being pretty proactive on where we're able to go and spend that money. Additionally, locally right now, we are conducting a lot of pile burning, as you're aware, and that's across the forest and also BLM. Don can certainly speak to the BLM side of things, but for the Newberry Division, Bend, South County, we have, of course, pile burning going on, even down into Lapine area, down to BLM Lapine area, and just high-profile locations. But that'll be going on really throughout the winter into January. So just be kind of aware that that's going on as conditions allow, and then of course we'll be gearing back up for next season through the winter time. So thanks,
Awesome.
everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. Yeah, and also definitely tell Jeff Crawford thanks for the video. He got a good one thinking the Firewise community is wild. There's actually some burning and whatnot happening in the background, which is super cool.
Excellent.
Yeah. Tom Mooney.
Just tag on what Bill said about the burn app. So we've been beta testing it for now, kind of working out some of the bugs in it a little bit. Last I heard, it's still kind of in the beta testing phase. I don't know much more beyond that, but I know we're looking to move towards that platform also, just to simplify things in that pipe a little bit more. And we're also in the process of creating our own river fire and rescue burning ordinance. So we're just in the initial phases of that. And we will be able to have some more tools in the toolbox that we can use.
Yeah, well, that'll be good to see what the ordinance are as you guys pull it together or pull that stuff together. And also pretty awesome to hear that the burn permitting is being a little more standardized across the units, which is way cool. Let's see, I think looking at my list, I believe we've made it through everybody. Is there anybody that has any go backs or any updates that I missed?
Yeah, Boone, I'm still here. This is Dean Richardson.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Dean.
Good morning. I'd like to start off with a big thank you to the U.S. Forest Service, Robert Noe. I've looked at the EAs for a couple of local projects, a Road 42, GNA, and the Clone project. I know you have a lot of hoops to jump through to bulletproof them for the finals, but looking forward to that, and hopeful that this infrastructure money really helps in wildland interface areas. And also, I think probably through categorical exclusion, you're going to be able to help us with a couple, 3 communities in the area here that needed attention. One community had about a 40-acre island of U.S. forest land right in the middle of their community, and another one has a 1 mile plus access road that's gotten a little overgrown. So thanks again for helping us out there too. For the Upper Deschutes River communities, this month we're gonna be doing some regrouping with some personnel changes, and next month we're gonna start planning what we can do for this year to help the communities. Someone earlier on brought up breaking down the Firewise communities by fire districts, and I think it's worth mentioning that you ought to ask Chief Supkus. I think most of the Firewise communities are in the Upper Deschutes River CWPP, but to my knowledge, there's only one Firewise site in the entire Lapine CWPP. So I'm hoping that maybe we can get some traction there. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're correct on those locations of those sites, Dean. There are a couple of things in the chat that I just wanted to make sure we touch. Patty Gentolomo from SORA, Sun River there, said she didn't have any updates. And then Todd Peplin from the Deschutes Soil and Water Conservation District also said he didn't have any updates this morning. If there's no other go backs or any other questions or updates we need to do, looks like Don, you come off of mute.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for their time and hope our presentation was of value to folks. And again, thanks for the opportunity to present it to you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks again, Don. And I'll probably add your guys' contact info to my notes that come out from this meeting. And then if you're needing to contact Don or Heather, let me know and I'll put you guys all in contact with one another. Okay, well, thank you guys all for attending. If there's nothing else, have a good day. I appreciate seeing you guys all.